Hi, my name's Jack. Welcome back to the Red Path. Today we're looking at World Eater's allies in the Arks of Omen. The main rules we're going to be looking at today are those in the Battle Brothers section of the Arks of Omen GT book. So stay tuned. Hey, and welcome back to the video. As I said, today we're looking at the Battle Brothers section of the Arks of Omen GT book. We're going to look at what allies you can take and that kind of good stuff. What allies can you take? Restrictions to follow to maintain Battleforge, so to maintain your obsec on your berserkers and jackals, to keep your traits, so +1 strength, +1 attack on the charge, and most importantly, Blood Tithe. In short, it's how to make your allies gain the Agents of Chaos keyword, basically. And then we're also going to look at how to juice your allies up. So what parts of the allied books you can access. What kind of bits and pieces you can do to really make them shine. So up first, we're going to look at Chaos Knights. So they are unlocked by every World Eaters unit having the Chaos keyword on their datasheet, as expected. So this is in the Battle Brothers section of the GT rulebook for anyone who is wondering where it is. You can take one super heavy auxiliary detachment, not a super heavy, just a super heavy orcs, and you can only take one, and it can only contain one Dreadblade unit. This means you can take one big knight of any kind, just one big knight, or one war dog squadron of up to 3 little knights, because that is one unit. Fortunately, this also fulfills the criteria in the Chaos Knights book of Fallen Hero, the Fallen Hero rule, which means the unit in question will gain the Agent of Chaos keyword. So that's really nice and easy to make sure it doesn't break your World Eater stuff. So, what rules do you get then? So, Chaos Knights detachments, even in super heavy auxiliary detachments, which normally rules you out of a lot of faction rules and other bits and pieces. For Chaos Knights, it's different because obviously everything's super heavy. So, Traitorous Lancers, you don't get this because it requires a super heavy detachment, which means basically the effect is you can't make any of your knight characters, which is kind of fine. Traitorous Ambitions, as a Dreadblade, you do not get those. Meaning you can't take the Iconoclast or Infernal rules. So the main one is Demonic Surge. I think you can also the Iconoclast one is AP and attacks on the charge. Don't know. Don't get it. Doesn't matter. So you can't get the top level sub-faction rules. You can, however. Oh no! Before I get onto that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Harbingers of Dread. This is the Dread chest abilities. We don't get these as well. That's the pure faction rules, akin to Blood Tithe. So it would be silly if we also got that. So because it requires every unit in the army to have the Chaos Knight keyword. So we don't get them. What we do get, however, Fallen Hero, as mentioned above, it allows Dreadblades to get Agent of Chaos. It means it doesn't break any of our faction rules, which is great. Towering Foe, so models count as 5 models for the purposes of controlling objectives. Titanic units count as 10. So big knights count as 10, war dogs count as 5. Household Bond, so this is the sub-faction traits. So while we don't get the Iconoclast or Infernal household abilities, we can pick a trait. So Worthy Offerings has been doing the rounds. I've seen Precision Cruelty a few times, Bold Tyrants, any of them pretty much, except the ones that are basically successor rules. So we can't take Infamous Heredity or Bound Vassals. So no like House Vectrix, House Herbstrax rules for us, basically, which is, again, kind of fine. That is because we are Dreadblades. We don't get that. It specifically rules those out because we're Dreadblades. War Dogs will gain the Objective Secured ability. Because it's a super heavy orcs and they're Chaos Knights. So that is interesting, and I don't think too many people have cottoned onto that, because for me that is a big selling point, that War Dogs are fast obsec vehicles, essentially. Pretty nice. Stratagems. We get stratagems, so it's unlocked by having any Chaos Knight detachments. There's no exclude on super heavy orcs, so it's fine. We get strats. Favour of the Dark Gods. They are unlocked once again by any Chaos Knights detachments. It's also interesting to note that there's no limit on God-aligned keywords either, so you can select non-Khorne blessings. People have been confusing the Demons restriction, which does specify Khorne, and the Knights one, which does not. So you can select non-Khorne blessings. I've been running Mirror of Fates myself, which is the Tzeentch one. I've seen other people running Mark of the Dread Knight, and also I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few Blessings of the Dark Master, especially on Big Knights, if people want to take them. And I could see people wanting to take Big Knights. Yeah, so interestingly, that same thing. There's no rider on everything having to be Khorne marked. You can take a Psycho Knight if you want. You can take an Abominant with World Eaters, and it won't break any of our rules, as far as I'm aware. But correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so that's a nice quick run through of what exactly we can get access to with Chaos Knights. Myself, I've been running two Executioners, one of which has Mirror of Fates. I've been running them as worthy offerings for the +1 to hit against big stuff. But I've seen people having Joy Brigands as well, which is the chain gun and thermal spear. I think most people who've been looking at allying knights have been using them as fire support, like gun platforms, basically. But I could see people running. There's a funny list around, I would imagine, which is Angron and a big knight. I think that would be not even the worst thing in the world, because you have to shoot one of them, right? And you're probably not killing both in a turn. So it'd be interesting to see if people can go the distance with that kind of list. So let me know in the comments how you're running your Chaos Knights. I'd genuinely be really interested to see the list you've written with Chaos Knights, the setup you've got for them, basically. Yeah, so up next, obviously we've done Chaos Knights. Up next, we've got Chaos Demons. This is unlocked by having the World Eaters keyword. You can take one patrol detachment containing only units with Khorne keywords, and you cannot include Be'lakor. It's specifically excluded in the Demonic Allies rule in the Codex Chaos Demons. So the Demonic Allies rule is basically the 25% rule. It's basically been spoken about on the internet as. So if the combined power level of your Demons detachment makes up no more than 25% of your combined army's power level, then every unit gains Agents of Chaos. Nice and easy. I don't think anyone's been trying to game this. There are ways to game it in list construction, like because of the way power level works. You can have, for example, a unit of 4/8 bound, and it'll count as 12 power level instead of 6. Pretty nice hack. And one of the reasons why I don't know why they've done it in power level and not points. Who knows? GW in their infinite wisdom. Yeah, so that's what you need to do if you don't want to lose your World Eaters rules and still take Demons. So what do you get with Demons? So your Chaos Demons attachments, you do not get Warp Storm effects. This is the faction level rules. Obviously, we're not going to get them because they're not pure demons, because you're running World Eaters. It requires every unit to have a Legiones Demonica keyword, so we don't get that. We do get part of the Demonic Manifestation rule. We do get the first part, which is the native Deep Strike on units, as well as the ability to Deep Strike within 6 if deployed wholly within 6 of a Warp Locus unit, which in our codex specifically is Angron and the Lord of Skulls, or the Lord of Skulls. There are various other Warp Locuses in the Demons book, so if you want to take a Bloodthirster or Scarbrand, I think off the top of my head, or a Skull Altar, then you can Deep Strike stuff within 6 inches. The other parts do require army-wide Legiones Demonica keywords, so we don't get them. So the Deep Strike within like leadership range of the enemy, or Deep Strike within 3 inches in your own deployment zone, we don't get that. Exalted Greater Demons, this is something I've seen misplayed quite a lot. Requires any Legiones Demonica detachment, meaning we do get this. It also, to note, is the Greater Demons own their rule about having to be the Warlord is only in effect in pure demon armies, which we are not. So we don't have that, and even if you do, if you have multiple units with the same rule, with that rule, you get to pick, basically. But it doesn't matter. so they don't have to be a warlord. It's fine. Stratagems, as with knights, requires any detachment with the right keyword, so Legionis Demonica in this case, meaning we do get stratagems from demons. Obviously only the Khorne demon strats, fine. This does hilariously include the Relics of the Brass Citadel stratagem, meaning you can get a relic regardless of who your warlord is. Yeah, so if you want to strike Angrath, King of Blades on an Exalted Bloodthirster, you can do that. There won't be much else in the patrol, because I think the Exalted Bloodthirster with the phase cap goes up to 18 power level, and then Bloodlet's is another 6. Most 2,000 point lists are 100 there or thereabouts, unless you try and get really gamey, but there are disadvantages to doing that too. I'd say, well, 100's maybe a bit low. 100 to 110, I'd say, is probably accurate for most lists that I've written anyway. Warlord traits. You can upgrade a demon's character to be your warlord, assuming no Angron. Because Angron has to be a warlord, and there aren't, as I've just said, great demons don't have to be a warlord, so Angron has to be a warlord, and there's no ways of giving extra warlord traits in either the demon's book or ours. So you can make a demon your warlord if you so choose. It's not tied to the Arks of Omen attachment that I could see. Correct me if I'm wrong with a page number, please. Because I had a pretty deep look through it earlier and couldn't see it. Maybe I am blind though. Yeah, so that is just, it's an extra nice piece. If you don't, for some reason, don't want to run Angron or Invocatus with his warlord trait, then you can in fact get Ignore Invuln on a Bloodthirster. That was just a really brief run through of both Chaos Knights and Chaos Demons. We currently do not have rules to ally with Chaos Space Marines, sadly. Maybe that'll get changed, maybe it won't, who knows. I'm just going to touch on, I haven't done a slide for it because I'm just going to touch on it. I don't think we can take Abaddon. I've seen people asking. He's not a unit choice in our book. He's only covered in the ally section as being possible in a Legion detachment that's not Black Legion. Legion's attachments are only available in the Chaos Space Marines book, to my reading, which we can't ally with, as I've said. So, my understanding is we can't take Abaddon at the moment. There might be workarounds that mean you can. I would like it explained in a lot of detail, a lot of detail with page references and stuff, if you can. I could see TOs letting it happen, but to me, I don't think you can, to my reading. Because, yeah, that's just my reading. Disagree with me if you want. Disagree with me vocally in the comments. As I said, the more references, the better, please. Especially if you have anything else on anything I've shared so far. This was just a really quick responding to community requests, I guess, because there have been a lot of questions about the Discord, Facebook, all of that stuff. About how we ally people, who we can ally with, how we ally them, what we keep, what they keep, that kind of thing. So if you meet all of the requirements that I've gone through above, you keep all of your World Eaters rules, which includes Blood Tithe, because Blood Tithe specifically says excluding Agents of Chaos. Important to note is that Blood Tithe won't ever affect your allied units, so it won't affect you won't get the buffs on allied knights or allied demons. They do contribute Blood Tithe points if they die and if they kill stuff, so that's something to think about, but they will never benefit from the buffs. Interestingly, they also can't score, demons in particular, they also can't score you Blood for the Blood God, the kill stuff in melee secondary, because that specifies World Eaters units as well. But they will still count towards Blood God's due and obviously Blood Tithe points, which is part of the skulls. So those are some considerations to think about when you're building your list with allies. Yeah, if I'm wrong, come shout at me in the comments. Shout at me, join the Discord, there's a link down below. Come shout at me in the Discord, tell me where I'm wrong, again, with references. Like, comment, all of that good stuff. Boost the algorithm, subscribe, that's good. But most importantly, stay healthy, stay safe.